best way to say this? Nobody wants to pet a biting dog. They laws have mercy. She even called out Art of Kicks. A-okay? I love you. But when there is an artist that feeds you information that says, I am this person with this type of motivation, with this type of behavior, this type of skills, this type of integrity, that's a lot of information that comes within a video or an advertisement for your talent or your skill. And as consumers, we're allowed to sift through that and pick through what we want and what we don't want. And we ditch what we don't want and we absorb what we want, and we decide if we're going to vote on you with our emotional support and our dollars. And that is the right of the consumer. Consumers go beyond that. Consumers don't want just someone with talent. It takes more than just talent to be embraced by others. It takes an emotional link. It takes emotional consistency. It takes the ability to say, this is what I'm presenting, all of these things again in my music, in my advertisements for my skill and my talent. Beyond that, I'm going to also remain consistent to those things and show you that at the core, I am that individual. That creates a continuity that consumers love. And that is why many consumers in the country rap genre flog to Upchurch. It's comforting to find somebody that is emotionally there from work to play to family, that we don't have huge emotional roller coaster rides with. We want somebody that we can be on that roller coaster ride with and go, dang, did you feel that? And when they're there with us, we bond more and we become greater consumers. It takes more than talent to be embraced by others. I think that's what is being missed. It's also very difficult for people to want to feel and feel your lyrics and feel your songs when all they're receiving is caustic behavior. So it's very difficult to want to flow with you in a song and then see you on Instagram and want to run and scream and go, oh shit, I hope she doesn't come for me. You know, so it's very difficult to say, oh, I like this person's just not nice, you know, and there's got to be transitional moments in your behavior and your emotional, you know, path so that people can follow that with you. When you jump, skip, and become aggressive and caustic, it scares people. It's very difficult. You know, it's why they sell honey and not honeycomb. Even though honeycomb is really good for you, it's hard to get down. Kicking mule gets tied farthest from the farmer. The bull that breaks the fence gets sold at auction. Bad behavior has a consequence or repercussion that you have to accept. And if you don't learn from it, people are going to go, You know, if you've got a bull that has chased you across the field 5 times, do you go back in that field? No. No. You have a dog that growls at you, do you go up and say, oh, you're a nice puppy? No. So these emotional inconsistencies, you know, it's like, it's a big missed high five between an artist and their fans. Sometimes to soften your heart, you got to beat it up yourself, and you got to have some real, you know, TKOs with, you know, the ego and the arrogance and that mental image of who you think you are, because that is rarely who we are. It is normally a very flawed picture of who we are. And sometimes we need to ask other people, hey, how did that come off? How was that perceived by you? How did that make you feel? Because sometimes we get wrong, and we have to ask, because we have to learn and grow as a human being, because we don't want to continue to get it wrong. Because continuing to get it wrong means that we're not receptive to others and how others receive us and how we are received by others. And that should be a concern. When you aren't concerned with the behavioral, mental, and emotional health of others, it normally indicates that you're only concerned with your own. I know this has been a lot of psychobabble, and I really hope y'all, you know, can swallow what I'm dishing out, but I try to react. Okay, roll your britches up, we're fixing to wade in. So, in the psychological components, here's something that humans have not quite figured out. Engagement. Engagement is one of those things that we weigh on heavily to determine who we want to participate in life with and who we don't. Psychologically, there have been a lot of tests to see how we as humans relate to other animals with a much smaller brain mass, okay? So they did a study on rats. Did you know that rats, when they engage in play, and rats engage in play, they laugh, they giggle. Somebody got $50,000 for rats giggle. Why not me? But when rats engage, they do so in play, and they do so to strengthen their little society. A smaller rat can go, hey, I want to play with you. I can beat you up. And the big rat that's in power goes, okay, kid, I know what you're doing. You want to feel good about yourself today. And 70% of the time, the big rat will win because he's a dominant rat. 30% of the time, he will let the little rat win because he knows if he doesn't allow someone that is beneath him to feel that engagement and that small victory, they will not continue to engage with him, and then he will be big rat. In many ways, the rats are smarter than humans because sometimes as humans, we haven't figured that out. We haven't figured out that when we constantly pound people down, eventually they stop standing up to say, hey. And when people stop standing up to engage with you, it gets lonely. And loneliness sucks. The words are funneling around in my head, and I'm waiting for one to drop out of the sieve. Yelling at their behavior, you can represent where your behavior came from, your mindset behind that behavior, why you chose that behavior, and why you think that behavior is necessary. Because it's not that people don't think you have skill. It's not that people don't think you have talent. It's that they think you're not consistent, and they think that you're going to lead them on a path that is going to be herky-jerky, hard to compost, and emotionally unsatisfactory. That sounded like a bad... You have to want to be the honey and not the honeycomb sometimes. You can be the honeycomb 2 days out of the week, but you gotta be the honey 5 days out of the week. Yeah, you're just trying to be an artist over here in music, but you have to navigate society to have your fans, to work, to have those relationships, to have those people that will set you up and work for you and be there for you 100%. You gotta have those people too. And consistency is a big deal. Emotional consistency and behavioral consistency is a big deal. Behavioral consistency in children in the United States is a huge concern at this time. Behavioral and emotional inconsistency is a huge issue for adults in the United States this time. Why is it? Because as a child they had behavioral inconsistencies, and when they emotionally matured, those behavioral inconsistencies traversed into the emotional terrain because they hadn't figured one out. They didn't have the bridges to navigate the other creeks, and they ended up having to swamp through the marshland, and all they got was a hard journey with no positive memories. So build a bridge. That bridge, most of the time, is emotional compatibility with the rest of society. Doesn't mean that you're an underdog. It doesn't mean that you're a coward. It doesn't mean that you're giving up. It means that you understand other people also feel emotions, and sometimes we have to give a win to the other team. Sports were canceled this year, though. Anyway, that's where my brain went. Life has got a lot of turns in it. I am absolutely not the person I was when I was 18, 19. I'm absolutely not the person that I was 3 months ago. Life is a growing evolution. If you're not growing, changing, learning things about yourself and changing certain things to improve yourself, then what are you doing? So people want to see an evolution, they want to see a positive evolution, and they want to be able to follow a positive evolution because it makes them think that they can have one too. And so when we latch onto these people and we want to feel positivity and all we get is drama, it's kind of jarring, because that's not particularly what humans want to share with each other. And so for me, the biggest concern is, why do you choose to share anger, outrage, and aggression before you choose to share emotional consistency and emotional truth? There's a reason for that. There is a reason why you toss that persona up first. And normally it goes back to a trauma incident where they felt that they were overrun by somebody in a position of power, so that they want the position of power, and they will never get that position of power up. Pinky and the brain do not reverse roles. Do you understand that? Yeah. So in order to identify as Pinky or the brain, you have to understand your life journey and understand what has happened to make you have that mentality, and understand that you actively want to change that mentality, because without the realization and the understanding, you know, and really taking apart what is creating that response, you can't change it. And I really want to see a positive change. I really want to see somebody that has talent do well. I want to see real people that are really in the world do real things and have real rewards. But I don't want to see toxicity celebrated. It's not good for anyone. And certainly the demographic that your music goes to primarily, it's not a positive message. These young people that look up to you are in the absolute quagmires of hormonal, prepubescent and pubescent drama, and they're learning how to cope with all of these emotions and things that happen. And you have to understand that when you put yourself in a position of authority or fame, you become a role model whether you want to be one or not. And at some point during that career, if you choose not to be a role model, you become a really good warning. And I would hate to think that somebody so young would choose to be a warning, especially without understanding why they're doing so. I can't give professional advice. I'm not working anymore. No, I'm not billing anybody. Nobody's coming to see me. This is just a MommaLiz opinion. This is just how I feel about this. But I think if you're going through some of these behaviors that we're seeing represented in people in positions of fame today, especially the one that created some drama last week, please talk to somebody. You know, even if it's just a trusted friend or family member, please talk to somebody. And if you're noticing that you're having some limitations with your emotions, or your emotions don't cover the range of emotions that you think you should be having, talk to somebody. Try to create a map, keep a journal, watch yourself, see your reactions, make a little snapshot that you can physically look at in black and white that says, this is what I'm consistently and continually doing. How do I stop the ones that I don't want to continue doing? And then make a plan. And it could be as small as waking up and making sure the first thing out of your mouth is something positive. It could be waking up and giving yourself 10 compliments in the mirror before you address anyone else. It could be sitting at dinner and no matter what is being prepared, you offer whoever prepared it a compliment. It's retraining. It is remapping where those little synapses, those little highways in your brain go. And instead of going to, I get to be the queen, bitch, it goes to, they took time and did this for me, and I'm going to be compatible. And you learn how to navigate so much more healthy. And when you love yourself, you love others. Somebody gave me the Hope Diamond wrapped in barbed wire. Somebody else could have it. I ain't dealing with it. They gave me 10 miles of barbed wire and said in the middle is the Hope Diamond and you will be set for life. I would say it's not worth it. It's not worth the physical, emotional pain I'm going to go through. You can have it. And we all have to kind of realize that, and we have to understand how we wrap ourselves and present ourselves to public is just as important as who we are at the core. And if you're not the person you want to be at the core, do the work to change the core. It's very possible. So this has been a MommaLiz moment for 15. And I hope that anybody struggling got something good out of this, something inspirational. And if you're having these negative behaviors, I think maybe I helped you learn something so that you could reach out and get the help you need. And as always, you know, some opinions don't matter. But when 95 of the opinions do relay the same message, sometimes the message is worth listening to. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and Lord help us, pray for this world. Bye, y'all.